Okay, so what's up, guys? And it has been around 3 months since I got this Iriz, and I did like to tell you about my experience of having this car for 3 months now. So basically everything with the car is fine. The seats are still comfortable, the speakers are about average, and then the noise insulation is okay lah, not bad, acceptable. Engine noise is still quite insulated. Suspension is still doing a good job. I mean, it corners well. It corners in a very stable manner. But the thing is that the ride can sometimes be a bit on the stiffer side, and I did forgive that weakness of the car because this car is for handling more than comfort. So I think that if the suspension is a bit stiff, I think that is forgivable lah. Now the shitty things, right? My brakes are making noise. I don't know why, but according to what my mom said, is because a few days ago she drove for a long distance, and during a long distance drive, right, of course you would keep applying the brakes to bring your car to a stop. After coming back home, she parked the car, and then it started to rain. So when it rains, of course the water is going to come in contact with the brakes. And with that said, right, because if your brakes are warm, and if cooling water goes on your hot brakes, that would actually have a risk of damaging the brakes. So I mean, right now the brakes are not making any noise, but I did rather have my mom to send this car for inspection as soon as possible, because safety first. The aircon system is okay. I mean, like, I do need to use the coldest temperature during my rides. The stereo system is still working fine. Buttons, the build quality of the buttons in this car are not bad, I guess, for the 5000. And then the lights, the headlights are okay. Brake lights should be doing fine. And then, well, overall, would I buy another Iriz next time? Well, I did say that I would either go for the 1.3 executive or maybe the 1.3 standard manual, because with the executive, of course you get more chrome touches in the interior, like you know the edges that surround the radio of the Iriz and Persona, right? You can actually get more chrome linings with the executive models. The standard models are finished in grey color, which is not so beautiful, considering that this car is a B segment car. And then what else should I nitpick about? I did say that the executive model, right, it sometimes it makes life easier, and that's because the executive model has push start, it has keyless entry, and basically my Iriz is like a dinosaur car. I mean, like, to start the engine you need to turn the key, to lock the doors you need to press the button on your key fob. But I mean, it does the job, it gets the job done, because I can still start my car like normal. I can still lock or unlock my doors like any other car would. The fuel consumption, right, now it is reading something like it says 7.4 liters per 100 km. If you do some calculation, right, if you guys want to be specific with things, it would say something like approximately 14 km per liter. And to me, I don't think that that's a good fuel consumption, because you know about the Proton 1 tank adventure, right? And then basically most people, in fact almost everyone, they manage something like 6 liters per 100 km. Some Superman, some mighty heroes, they even manage something like 5.5 liter per 100 km. And this actually reflects back to me, because I don't think that my mom is a heavy footer. I mean, she takes good care of her cars, and then she basically knows the essence of tender loving care. But the thing is that having 7.4 liters per 100 km, I think that actually this car can do better. It's basically 1.3, 94 horsepower, which is quite good for 1.3, because if you think about the older Proton models like the Proton Vira 1.5, the 4G15 engine actually makes 90 something horsepower, but their 4G13 engine, the Vira 1.3, it only makes something like 75 horsepower, which, I mean, in today's context, right, 75 horsepower is basically like a 1.2 liter engine. When my mom just got the car, and then we actually pushed the car to somewhere like 3000 or 3005 revolutions per minute, and yeah, we actually find that the acceleration was quite impressive for its cc, because you don't normally expect a 1.3 to give you much g-force. And speaking about 1.3, actually my Iriz, right, if I'm not wrong, my Iriz weighs around 1100 kilograms, and then of course the myvi is lighter, and let's say a myvi 1.3 and an Iriz 1.3. Basically, I've taken rides in the first generation myvi 1.3, the second generation myvi 1.3, and right now I'm in an Iriz 1.3 CVT, and I've also taken rides in the 1.3 manual Iriz. And all I can say is that despite the Iriz weighing 1.1 tons, right, the 94 horsepower is able to keep you satisfied throughout your daily work commutes. I mean, you cannot ask for more. No matter the CVT or the manual variant of the 1.3 Iriz, you are able to get a speed of 160, and that is actually quite an impressive speed for its engine output. Although I know that actually a 1.3 engine, if you give it good petrol, you give it good engine oil, you are able to achieve 180 or 190 km per hour easily, honestly. Now, how does it feel like when you take a ride in this car at night? Now, basically, let's just say that I off the light, and all you see is red color fonts. I mean, like, you can see a lot of, like, the radio lights are red color, the aircon knob, right, those numbers, those icons, they are finished in red. The temperature knob, the lights are in blue color, and I think that is quite a nice finishing, because if you have been into interiors, German interiors like the BMW, let's say the BMW E36, you will see that the meter is orange or maybe red, depending on how you name your colors. I think that kind of setup, right, that kind of color option, it actually makes the interior feel quite sporty, to be honest. And plus, this car has Lotus ride and handling. So when you sit in here and when you see those red color wordings, red color lights. But okay, by the way, right, the meter is, the lights are white color. So basically, the meter is on the modern side lah. But I cannot complain about it, because I basically think that the meter of the new Persona and the current Iriz facelift, I mean, they are just simply beautiful. When you step in this car, you know, you paid 45,000. The moment you switch on your lights at night and drive, you actually feel it's quite impressive, you know, because it actually makes the interior feel a bit upmarket to a certain extent. So far, the dashboard, there's not much rattling noise. I mean, there's no rattling noise at all. But some people on the internet, like Proton.org, even the Iriz and Persona group on Facebook, some people they keep complaining that their dashboard has some kind of weird sound. Although I shouldn't expect for the weird sound. I mean, like, I'm actually interested to know what kind of weird noise it is, because basically, if it is a dangerous thing, then I mean, like, all Proton consumers, they have to be cautious and they have to be careful of their cars, because you basically don't want your new car or any car of any age to actually give you something dangerous without expectation. And sometimes if you go to the service center, right, I bet that some of their workers would definitely tell you something like, hey brother, it's just ini proton saja lah, you expect what? I mean, like, say all you want, but if it happens to be something dangerous, then it is definitely something that all consumers have to be aware of. Now, speaking of vibrations, when you travel on rough roads, you definitely feel quite a lot of vibration. When the engine is at higher RPMs, then you can actually feel a little bit of vibration from the floor. And then, to be honest, I don't quite like it because my Zafiro is a V6, and basically all of you should know that a V6 engine is smooth, a V6 engine is quiet, it is powerful and efficient. So speaking about it being smooth, I definitely don't feel any vibration when the car is moving on the road, and there's also no noise. But this Iriz being a 4-cylinder, right, I did say that, to be honest, this car is really quieter than the myvi. It is something that you guys need to know, because I mean, a lot of you out there, you all like to say bad things about Proton. No matter how much this car brand has improved, you know, the moment you see an Iriz on the road, you just like to compare it to your goddamn myvi. And then some of you are even worse, where you compare an Iriz with an axia. I don't know if that's your hobby of criticizing Proton cars, but basically what I expect from a car is that a car has to be stable. I'm not asking for speed. I mean, like, if a car can corner at 80 km in a stable manner, I mean, I'm happy enough. If the car can travel at 160 km per hour without any shaking or what, I'm satisfied enough. So I'll see you in my next video, and currently the car's mileage is 3,400 km, and so far everything is still fine, which means that in 1 month this car travels an average of 1,000 kilometers. And so I'll see you in my next video. See you all next time. Bye.